let's talk about some crash diet myths. I am studying to be a certified personal trainer, and part of that certification entails me to understand basically the tip of the iceberg when it comes to nutrition. So part of my scope of practice, I can't actually give out specific and personalized diet plans, but I can talk nutrition basics, as well as kind of inform you on diet myths and why they're false and why you should avoid them. So let's just dive right into that. So first and foremost, something that's very popular, the low carb diet. So what the low carb diet is, low carb diets restrict carbs below the recommended daily intake. So our recommended daily intake for carbs is about 65% of our caloric intake to be carbs. I think it's like between 40 and 65%. I might be a little off on those numbers, but that's about roughly. So a low carb diet would be putting that caloric intake for carbs under that, well below under that. So a couple reasons why we need carbs. Carbs are our body's primary source of fuel. Every organ in our body needs carbs to function. Our brain almost entirely runs off of carbs. So in order to have a proper functioning brain, we need to be consuming carbs. So restricting carbs robs our body of readily available energy, and overall performance will suffer greatly. So carbs is what carbs are, carbs give us energy. When we eat carbs, it's very easy for our body to access that energy, and in turn we are able to go about our day not feeling like we need to take a nap every hour, right? So carbs also replenish glycogen stores. They provide nutrition that proteins and fats can't provide, and they are needed for the process of breaking down body fat. So whenever you're wanting to lose body fat, you need to be eating carbs. So when there aren't enough carbs in the body breaks down protein instead, and this is a catabolic process. This is something we don't want to happen. We don't want our body to be breaking down our protein from our muscles to be giving that energy. It's not good for us. We need carbs. So then another very low carb diet would be the keto diet. So the keto diet is actually no carbs and very high fat, which is actually above the fat intake that we even need. So our liver breaks down fats to be used as energy instead of glucose. So I think the myth here is that your body will be breaking down fat to be used as energy, so it's going to be pulling from your body fat. I'm sorry, it's just not true. It might be pulling from your body fat, but it needs glycogen instead of fat. It needs glycogen for energy. So this is a protective mechanism to actually be pulling from our fats instead of from glycogen. And it's used in survival situations. So whenever you're starving and you're at your end, you're about to die of starvation, that's whenever your body is going to be pulling from fats to give energy. And if we're just trying to lose weight, we don't want our body doing that. It's not good for us. It may lead to reduced body fat, but it dangerously lowers the blood pH. And it can be fatal and should not be used as a weight loss plan. So don't do keto. So then we have cleanses. Especially in today's world, cleanses are something that are very popular. I don't even know all the cleanses out there, but there are so many cleanses that promise to rid your body of toxins, because we consume so many toxins and we need to cleanse our bodies of them, as if our body doesn't know how to do that ourselves. It does. So they promise rapid fat loss by fasting and then only eating a low calorie foods are the only foods that we're allowed to eat. They claim to remove toxins and cleanse out the body and boost fat burning. No. The liver and the kidney do a fantastic job at cleansing the body. We don't need supplements or cleanses, juices, drinks, anything else to help our body cleanse. It is very good at cleansing our body. Cleanses are actually self-induced starvation, simply put. So then you have blocker supplements. I've seen a lot of weight loss companies or health and wellness companies promoting blocker supplements that promise you can eat however you want, and this pill or this vitamin or this drink will keep you from gaining any weight from the food that you're eating. So you can go eat absolutely whatever you want and remain the size that you are or want to be. Hey, y'all are supposed to be in your room. So these actually do more harm than they do good. They are ingested for weight loss, but they hinder the essential process of digestion and metabolism. They promise easy weight loss while eating whatever you want, but in fact, they slow down our metabolism and our digestion, which is not something that we want. So then we have the super popular juicing diets or cleanses or any type of thing where you're only consuming juices. Fresh pressed juices, when consumed with a very balanced diet, are great. They give you lots of vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your body needs in a very tasty way, and they even give you fiber and things like that. But when they're only consumed, when that's the only food that you're allowed to eat or drink, blood sugar spikes from excessive amounts of fructose, and your essential proteins and fats are cut from the diet entirely. It potentially causes problems with numerous bodily functions. The gluten-free diet is seen as something that's pretty high up there on the level of healthy, and in order to be healthy, you need to be gluten-free. That's false. Only a very small population actually need to be gluten-free, and that's only ones that are diagnosed from a physician as having celiac disease or acute non-celiac intolerance. In that population, gluten is bad, but for everyone else, gluten is actually good. It has lots of nutrients in it. It helps us absorb nutrients, or vitamins and minerals that are found in wheat. So then you have the high protein diet. This is very popular in the world of fitness and bodybuilding and just people wanting to gain muscle and be very lean and strong. So a diet that consists of more than 35% of total caloric intake from protein would be considered a high protein diet. Chronic high protein diets generally are associated with lower intake of saturated fat and low fiber, which puts you at a greater risk for heart disease. The kidneys are required to work harder to eliminate the increased urea production. No idea if I said that right. But they are especially not good for those with a history of kidney problems, such as kidney stones. So if you have had kidney stones in the past, you do not want to go on a high protein diet. So low carb consumption typically goes along with a high protein diet, where you're consuming high amounts of protein but low amounts of carbs. And this can lead to decreased glycogen stores, poor performance, and dehydration, because when you're consuming excessive amounts of protein, you need even more water. So protein should make up only 10 to 35% of your overall caloric intake. You have intermittent fasting, which is super popular right now. I'm sure everyone and their best friend's uncle has heard of intermittent fasting. So if you don't know what intermittent fasting is, it's when you're only allowed to eat in a certain window of time, because that optimizes your ability to use the food that you're eating rather than it being stored as fat. I'm sorry, but that's not true. Your body does not have an internal time clock that automatically turns on after 7 p.m. and says, oh, now all this food has to be stored as fat because it's dark outside. That's not true. It's just not true. The reason that we might gain weight or have extra body fat is because we're consuming more calories than our body even needs. So when we're overeating, when we're binge eating because we're constantly restricting, then we're consuming more calories than our body needs, and that's whenever it's stored as fat. So we all have a certain number of calories that we can consume without gaining weight, and a very good place to kind of get an idea of the amount of calories that your unique body needs is to go to choosemyplate.gov, and you can really get an idea of the amount of calories that your body needs in a day. So then you have meal replacement shakes. So drinking our meals does not satisfy our peripheral satiation mechanisms, such as chewing, swallowing, stomach digestion, etc. This can lead to overeating because when we drink our meals, like I said, we're not satisfying those chewing and swallowing, different kinds of mechanisms like that. Instead, we're just drinking it, and so we're still craving that chewing to satisfy us. So then we're constantly grabbing and reaching and looking for other foods because drinking our meals is not going to satisfy us. Not to mention it's digested quicker because it's already partially digested. Your body doesn't have to break it all down. It's already in liquid form, so it just passes through very, very quickly. So at the end of the day, a well-balanced diet rules all. You want your fats. You want your fats, your carbs, your proteins, and your fruits and veggies. So have a well-rounded diet. Enjoy your fruits and your veggies. Don't leave out your carbs, your protein, and your fat in the ratio that you need to be consuming them. So we don't want excess fat. We don't want low amounts of carbs. And we don't want excess protein. We want it to be very balanced. So I hope that kind of clears up some questions you might be having if you've been thinking about doing different fad diets that are out there. Now you kind of know the rundown of why it might be a good idea to avoid them and what you can do instead. So if you have any other questions, or if you would like some in-depth information on nutrition advice, I can point you in the right direction to registered dietitians who can really help you with that, because again, that's not part of my scope of practice. I can just give basic information. So I hope that helps you.